One thing we all struggle to protect is a positive self-image. The more important the aspect of your self-image that's challenged by the truth, the more likely you are to go into denial. If you have a strong sense of self-worth and competence, your self-image can take hits but remain largely intact. If you're beset by self-doubt, a hallmark of self-righteous AFC thinking, however, any acknowledgement of failure can be devastating and any admission of error painful to the point of being unthinkable. Self-justification and denial arise from the dissonance between believing you're competent and making a mistake, which clashes with that image. Solution: deny the mistake. Attribute it to an outside element. Women won't play by the rules. Rather than resort to introspection. Maybe I'm wrong about the rules? Therefore, we see AFCs tenaciously cling to a moralistic sense of purpose in their methods, which is only reinforced by popular culture in our media, our music, eHarmony, our religion, etc. Articles of power. The term power has a lot of misapplied connotations to it. When we think of powerful people, we think of influence, wealth, prestige, status, and the ability to have others do our bidding. All of these are not power. As much as we'd like to convince ourselves that women are attracted to this definition of power, this is false. Because what I've described as aspects of power here are really manifestations of power. Here's a cosmic secret revealed for you. Real power is the degree to which a person has control over their own circumstances. Real power is the degree to which we actually control the direction of our lives. When we allow our thinking, our personality disorders, and our mental schemas, combined with their accompanying behaviors, to determine the course of our decisions, we relinquish real power. The man who succumbs, by force or by will, to the responsibilities, liabilities, accountabilities that are required of him by society, marriage, commitment, family, fatherhood, career choice, the military, etc., he is left with very little influence over the course of his own life. The painter Paul Gauguin is one of history's most powerful men. At middle age, Paul was a successful banker with a wife and children, and by all appearances, a man of great merit and considerable wealth. Then, one day, Paul decided he'd had enough and wanted to paint. He left his wife, children, and his money, and decided he would become a painter. He cast off his former life to live the life he chose. He had the power to assume control of it. Eventually, he died in Tahiti, but not after having one of the most interesting of lives and becoming a world-renowned painter. You may think what a horrible man he was to abandon his responsibilities to selfishly pursue his own desires. But the fact remains that he had the power within himself to do so that most men would shudder to even consider. So entrapped are we in our self-expectation and self-imposed limitations that we fail to see that we have always had the keys to our own prisons. We're just scared shitless to use them. This power is the root of that all-important term, confidence, we toss out every time we tell a 19-year-old chump what women really want so he can get laid. It's this ability to make our own decisions, right or wrong, and to confidently own them that separate us from other guys. It's this self-guided power that evokes a seemingly irrational confidence to spin plates, to date non-exclusively, to assert ourselves, and to be unafraid to make ourselves the prize. And it's just this power that women want to be associated with. Lack of this power is exactly what makes master pickup artists, PUAs, revert to some of the most pathetic AFCs once they become involved in an LTR, or long-term relationship. They sell women on this idealization and the perception that they possess this power, only to discover the AFC insecurities these behaviors were meant to cover up once they bought the act. This isn't to devalue PUA skills as effective behavior sets. Rather, it's meant to illustrate the behaviors that should be manifest as a result of effecting a real personal change. It should be that adopting a positive masculine mental schema prompts these PUA skills as a result. Instead, we have the cart before the horse in a mad rush to get that all-important pussy we've been deprived of for so long, but masking our deficit in real power and understanding with rote memorized PUA techniques, hoping that by practicing them, they'll turn into natural game and will mature enough to initiate a lasting personal change. We'll return to this later. The soulmate myth. There is no one. Chapter 1. The cardinal rule of relationships. You cannot negotiate genuine desire. This is a very simple principle that most men and the vast majority of women are willfully ignorant of. One of the most common personal problems I've been asked advice for in the past 10 years is some variation of, how do I get her back? Usually, this breaks down into men seeking some methodology to return his relationship to an earlier state where a previously passionate woman couldn't keep her hands off of him. 6 months into a comfortable familiarity and the thrill is gone. But in truth, it's the genuine desire that is gone. It's often at this stage that a man will resort to negotiation. Sometimes this can be as subtle as him progressively and systematically doing things for her in the hopes that she'll reciprocate with the same sexual, intimate fervor they used to have. Other times, a married or long-term couple may go to couples counseling to resolve their sex issues and negotiate terms for her sexual compliance. He'll promise to do the dishes and a load of laundry more often in exchange for her feigned sexual interest in him. Yet, no matter what terms are offered, no matter how great an external effort he makes, so deserving of reward, the genuine desire is not there for her. In fact, she feels worse for not having the desire after such efforts were made for her compliance. Her desire has become an obligation. Negotiated desire only ever leads to obligated compliance. This is why her post-negotiation sexual response is often so lackluster and the source of even further frustration on his part. She may be more sexually available to him, but the half-hearted experience is never the same as when they first met, when there was no negotiation, just spontaneous desire for each other. From a male perspective, and particularly that of an uninitiated beta male, negotiation of desire seems a deductive, rational solution to the problem. Men tend to innately rely on deductive reasoning, otherwise known as an if-then logic stream. The code is often something like this. I need sex, plus women have the sex I want, plus query women about their conditions for sex, plus meet prerequisites for sex, equals the sex I want. Makes sense, right? It's simple deductive pragmatism, but built on a foundation that relies on a woman's accurate self-evaluations. The genuine desire they used to experience at the outset of their relationship was predicated upon a completely unknown set of variables. Overtly communicating a desire for reciprocal desire creates obligation, and sometimes even ultimatums. Genuine desire is something a person must come to or be led to of their own volition.